So one thing that kind of came to me as I was sitting here, together with you for the first time in a long time. This is my first Dharma talk actually in person since December. I had done some in December, and then I started on my sabbatical after one Dharma talk at the beginning of January, but that was online, unfortunately. So this is a really great reentry, for me, reconnection. But one thing that came through to me as I was sitting here is how diverse this Sangha is. We have close to 30 people between those here and those online, and the different age ranges, different ethnicities, male and female, and I'm sure a lot of different professional positions that people are in. It's really great. And there's also a real diversity of practice experience. There's some in our Sangha who've been sitting or practicing, a practice like this for over 50 years. Some are in the 35-year range, some are in the 15-year range, some are in the 5 to 10-year range, and some are in the first year or two of practice. And that's a really important, actually, in a Sangha, is to have the different levels of practice experience, because those who've been practicing a long time have a lot to share with those who are just starting, and vice versa. Yeah, so I'm very appreciative of that quality of our Sangha right now. It makes my Dharma talks maybe a little bit challenging, because I want to meet everybody, but what I'm most I'm called to talk about is what's alive for me, and then the specifics might sometimes feel too advanced for some or too basic for others if you think in that way, but hopefully there's always something for you. So just take what is meaningful to you and leave the rest. Yeah. So what I felt moved to talk about today is practicing everyday koan. I'll say more detail about what koan is for those of you who don't, recognize that term. But I want to say right up front here, what we're doing here in our Zen practice. A reminder that Zen practice is about waking up to our true self, individually and collectively. Waking up to our true selves together. That's Zen. That's what we're doing here. And the Zen path teaches us that we have the opportunity to wake up every moment of every day. Right? It's always available to us to wake up. So practicing everyday koan is practicing with this spirit of wanting to wake up to our true self. Waking up requires us to be fully present to our body-mind. That's it. Be fully present to our body-mind. Now we come into a practice like this and we kind of get guidance and instruction. We get some pointers about what we're doing, how to do that, right? How to do that. We hear instructions like, well, let go, we want to let go of things, right? Or expand your capacity. This is a teaching I got from my Zumi Roshi. Expand your capacity. So we often get these directives in this stuff. Drop away body and mind. Drop away body and mind. How about don't add anything extra? These are all pointers, the things we're supposed to be doing in our practice. But we can't make any of these things actually be the goal of our practice. We actually, when we turn ourselves to say, okay, now I'm going to let go, something's gotten mixed in. Something's gotten mixed in, which it kind of infects your practice. Oh, I'm letting go. Have I let go yet? I'm going to drop away body and mind. And usually whenever we try to do anything with that kind of goal orientation, something within us resists and ends up doing the opposite. If I say expand your capacity, then we try to expand our capacity. We've actually limited our sensibility and our sensitivity, because suddenly all this energy is going into trying to expand our capacity. So these things, body and mind drop away, capacity expansion, letting go, they can't be the goals of the practice. Those are the byproducts of the practice. That's what happens. Okay, it's very important to recognize this, right? You aren't trying to do this. You aren't trying to do anything. You know, for the same reason, any kind of instructions are kind of suspect. I don't want to give you any instructions. I don't have instructions. At the beginning, we get meditation instructions. Okay, here's how you can hold your body. Here's how you can hold your mind. All right, that's very basic pointers, and those are important. You know, to take those in and internalize them. But the mind of instruction, giving and receiving, let that go. I'm not here to give you any instructions. William Blake, in his Songs of Innocence and Experience, the Proverbs of Hell, said the tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. Okay. Zen practice is more about the tigers of wrath. Yeah. Riding the tigers of wrath, being the tigers of wrath. So our practice is about being fully engaged with your own life. It's very concentrated. Being present to the intensity of your life, to the simplicity and directness of your own practice. There's such an incredible intensity of physiological energy and mental energy moving through every one of our bodies right now. Incredible intensity. Right? But it's not available to us, to body mind, often. Right? There's suppressants and there's blockages. Yeah. Right? But even so, it's incredible. Look at the powerhouses that we have in these bodies. The things we're able to do, the things we're able to do with our minds. As being present to this moment-to-moment intensity, directness, and simplicity is what the essence of the practice is. Now I want to just give some pointers about like how we're orienting that attention of being fully present to this intensity, okay? And this is where I'm going to step into koan, what I mean by koan, what we mean by koan. Yeah. So it's important to be fully present as body-mind. As body-mind. All right, I want to say this first. All experiences are relative. All experiences are relative. They're really just shifts in your perceptual field. Okay? So the Zen master Kodo Sawaki said that even Satori, which is this word we have for the biggest breakthrough experience where the personality structure is dropped away and it doesn't return. Right? Satori. Even Satori is just a shift in your perceptual field. It's just a relative. We only have this great word for it. And we're all like, I want that. Because it's different from this other experience we have. That's all. There's nothing especially special about it. All right. So we're definitely not trying to have an experience in our practice. And any effort you have to have an experience, like I said, it's going to create a counter force, which is going to keep you from having that experience. It's just the way it works. You've set up ripples. The ripples are going to go out. Okay, so you're not trying to have an experience. That's why I think it's better to orient yourself in practice towards inquiry, right? Don't try to have an experience. Don't try to do anything. But ask the question, what is present for you right now? What is present in your experience right now? And then to engage with that experience fully. Actually, to feel it most intensely. Okay, now I don't mean engage mentally, right? Not that. That's distancing yourself from the experience. What is the felt experience of body-mind? Body-mind. Everything has to be body-mind as one thing, right? You always have to take care of both. You have to consider it always body-mind. If you don't consider your practice to be body-mind, then it doesn't work. Right? Now we talk about here's what we do with our body and here's what we do with our mind. We talk about them separately, but they're not separate. Right? In fact, Buddhism says that there is a physical component to all mental phenomena and a mental component to all physical phenomena. Isn't that amazing? There's simply no sense of a kind of inert material world that does not have a mental component to it. And likewise, there is nothing that is purely in the realm of idea or concept. That's amazing. That's amazing. We talk about them separately because we experience them separately. Okay? We do. Let's recognize that. We very much experience our body as an object, that our mind is somehow animating. Right? But at the root, they're not separate. So every sensation is body-mind and every thought is body-mind. So practicing Zen, moment by moment, is to be fully present to what's going on with body mind. You don't have to be sitting zazen to do this. Zazen is a perfectly designed posture, well-designed posture to make it easier to do this, to make it more accessible for us to do this. But you don't have to be. And you can do this in any posture, position, level of activity. What happens is these discontinuities get set up between body and mind. This kind of internal decoherence, you could say. Okay. So this separation that we're kind of conditioned to believe in between our mind and our body, gets kind of reinforced and perpetuated as we kind of move our attention back and forth from one to the other. We're not experiencing ourselves whole in that way. So there's constantly this sort of subconscious struggle going on between our feelings and our thoughts, you could say, broadly. Maizumi Rishi, said once, there should be no struggle. He told me that in Dokusan, there should be no struggle. I've shared this several times. And said, what do you mean there should be no struggle? I'm struggling all the time. And it really pissed me off, when he said there should be no struggle. But it was very helpful, for him to say that to me as an aspiration, to point to the possibility of there not being struggle. Yeah, the possibility of not being in decoherence like that. Right? Oh, is that possible? It turns out it is. It turns out it is. All you have to do is be fully present to what's going on with yourself. That brings us to koan. Because koan is being right in the gap, right in the middle of the contradiction, right in the middle of the dilemma, right in the middle of the question. With your entire body mind. If you're content and comfortable and there's nothing, there's no edges, in your experience. So maybe there's no koan up for you in that place. Yeah, maybe there is no koan. Okay. So then you just be fully present, then the practice is more what we call shikantaza, just sitting, just being one with that. But usually there's an edge of some sort. There's an edge of some sort. A gap between you and another person, some kind of struggle inside yourself that is keeping you from being fully present with yourself. You notice a swirl of your mind looping on something. Yeah, anxiety kind of rising. Okay, there's something decoherent in your experience. You know it, you feel it. If you pay close attention to yourself, you might notice it multiple times a day. This edge, this gap. That's the place of practice. What am I feeling right now? What's going on with my body right now? Where is this? What am I feeling throughout my body? Okay. We can't listen to our thoughts. We can't believe the verbal stuff that's coming out. Okay, there might be some pointers to what's going on in the verbal, but we can't spin on that, right? Go into the dialogue. Don't we spend so much time in internal dialogue with other people or with yourself? I do. It's like, I've practiced enough to just recognize, when I catch it, it's like, nope, that's not going anywhere, but in circles. It's not going anywhere. I can be in this conversation, in my head with my wife. And, we've been together long enough that I think I know what she's going to say to the thing that I say, right? So we can actually have, I can have a quite lengthy conversation with her saying B, and then I say C, and then she says D, and then I say E and F. You can go through the whole alphabet. And, it's like, what? I try to catch myself, at C or D, hopefully. It's like, no. When it actually happens, she doesn't say what I think she's going to say. So that's just so energy sapping, isn't it? Right? Just to spend all that life force there. Yeah, that's not it. No, the koan is like right into the body sensation. What's going on here? Where is the edge? What's manifesting? Yeah. And then to turn your attention and to feel fully present, in that. And in the midst of that, that's where the transformation happens, right? And Genjo Koan Dogen said, as the myriad dharmas are other than self, when one is in the midst, there are no creating and destroying, no sentient beings, and all Buddhas, no delusion and enlightenment. Okay. In the midst of the self, there's no self. In the midst of enlightenment, there's no enlightenment. In the midst of delusion, there's no delusion. In the midst of pain, there's no pain. In the midst of anxiety, there's no anxiety. In the midst of struggle, there's no struggle. Right? That's it. In the midst of. That's the thing here. Really being in the midst of. That's the fully present that I want to orient us towards our practice. Be fully in the midst of the issue. So don't bypass the issue, don't resist the issue, don't resist the struggle, don't bypass the struggle. Experientially, sensorially, feeling with your feeling. Yeah. Go right into the middle of it, right into the middle of the sensation. Yeah, why can't we carry that sensitivity to sensation when we're walking down the street, when we're in conversation with someone, when we're engaged, when we're cooking, when we're washing the dishes? Actually, it's right there. It's right there. Why can't we? It's not like you have to practice Zazen for 5 years before you can be attentive. Be deeply attentive to yourself. It's right there every time. What are you feeling? What does your body feel like? Boom. Yeah. And then stay with it. Stay with it. That's the thing, right? Stay with it. It's not like a check-in. Oh, something there. Okay, now I'm going to go back up into my head. No, you got to stay with it. You stay with it. It expands, it moves, it shifts. So you have to be patient. You have to be consistent. Yeah, you have to really keep returning again and again, and be patient with yourself around what might or might not happen. No expectations. Yeah, maybe something shifts, maybe it doesn't. Maybe something moves to another place in your body, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it opens up, maybe it stops, maybe it doesn't. Right? But stay with it regardless. So this is taking care of your practice. If you take care of your practice in this way, then it will take care of you. Then, your body will tell you what to do next. The body will tell you the next step. But you really do have to be willing to be right in the middle fully of this complexity, in the edge state, in the wobble place, in the gray area, in the in-between, in the maybe painful. You have to be willing to be in that. This koan isn't like a clean experience, It's not like pure. I'm going to penetrate this koan. We got this language though, right? I'm going to penetrate the koan. I'm going to get to the other side. And then I'm going to be through with it. God, thank God this koan was a drag. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's actually, you go into it and you don't come out. That's it. You don't come out, you actually disappear into it. You become it. Right? You go so fully into your experience of the self that the self disappears. You go so fully into the experience of the edge of the question that the questioner disappears. That's what we should say, The pain disappears because the one who's having the pain, who's experiencing it as pain, disappears. That's why the pain disappears. The feeling doesn't disappear necessarily. But the experience as such disappears. And then it's just whatever it is. So do everything fully. Put yourself fully into every moment. That's it. So we can ask ourselves, and I ask you, and in our discussion we can share, what are your koans? What is your everyday koans, understood this way? Right? What might be those moments of edge that you're experiencing in your life now or regularly that you can practice with in this way? Something that brings up anxiety or worry or a difficult state, something you're trying to figure out, something you're trying to wayfind in your life. What might it be? Like to hear from you, what they are in your life. Yeah. So that's my talk for today.